Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing another episode of On My Radar where I let you know everything that's coming out that I got interested in by looking at the book cover, the author name, or whatever other reason. It just stood out to me, so it's on my radar. Now I'm putting it on your radar, letting you know the books that are coming out between today and this Saturday. So, yeah, you want your book to be featured because you're an author too? Check out the form down below, fill it out, and you will be considered. It just gets your book in front of my eyes for me to determine whether I want to feature it or not. Nobody's books are guaranteed. I don't get paid to put any specific books on here. It is all just the books that catch my eye. And let's get into those books now. First up, we have The Poison Season by Mara Rutherford, which comes in at 400 pages and is pitched as young adult dark fantasy. Outsiders are always given a choice, the forest or the lake. Either way, they're never heard from again. Lilo has spent her entire life on Indla, coexisting with the bloodthirsty forest and respecting the poisonous lake that protects her island from outsiders who seek to destroy it. But as much as Lilo cares for her community, she struggles to accept that her younger brother will be exiled by his next birthday unless he gains the magic of enchanted song so vital to Indla. When Lilo sees a young outsider on the verge of drowning in the lake, she knows exactly what she's supposed to do. But in a moment that will change everything, Lilo betrays her family, her best friend, and Inla by making an unthinkable choice. Discovery could lead to devastating consequences for both Lilo and the outsider, Jaren. But as they grow closer, Lilo realizes that not all danger comes from beyond the lake, and they can only survive if Lilo is willing to question the very fabric of her society, her people, and herself. Mara Rutherford began her writing career as a journalist but quickly discovered she far preferred fantasy to reality. Originally from California, Mara has since lived all over the world along with her Marine-turned-diplomat husband. A triplet born on leap year, Mara holds a master's degree in cultural studies from the University of London. Key selling points for this one is an atmospheric tone. A lush and foreboding atmosphere pairs with intense stakes to make this romantic fantasy an immersive read. Heartwarming romance. The Poison Season is filled with tried and true romantic tropes like enemies to lovers, forbidden love, and forced proximity that will leave readers swooning. Fantasy world building. This accessible fantasy world is filled with magic, evil forest, and haunting revelations. It will perfectly satisfy your spooky cottagecore dreams. Immersive writing style. As was with Mara's previous titles, this novel is filled with dreamy prose and jump off the page characters that readers will fall in love with. Social emotional learning. In this novel, the main character lives as a narrow minded society and has to choose between morals and family as she works to protect an outsider and return him to his family. As such, it includes the SEL categories of social awareness, relationship skills, responsible decision making, and self awareness. And then I've got a quote review already. Mara Rutherford's The Poison Season took me on the journey through a bloodthirsty forest where two star-crossed lovers discover the true meaning of poison. It brims with evocative storytelling that left me enchanted. That one is by Emily J. Taylor, New York Times bestselling author of Hotel Magnifique. Also, Kirkus Reviews says whimsical, romantic, and satisfying. Last Circle of Love, a novel that is unabridged by Lorna Landvik. Does not have any data on how many pages it is, but it is women's fiction. A funny, heartwarming story about a feisty group of women who shake, spice, and heat things up with a recipe book for romance from the best-selling author of Angry Housewives Eating Bonbons. Newly installed at the All Souls Lutheran, Mallory, Pastor Pete Peterson, soon realizes that her church isn't merely going through turbulent waters, but is a sinking ship. With the help of 5 loyal members of the Naomi Circle, the young, bold minister brainstorms fundraising ideas. They all agree that the usual recipe book won't add much to the parish coffers, but maybe one with all the ingredients on how to heat up relationships rather than casseroles will. Pastor Pete has her doubts about the project, but it turns out the group of postmenopausal women has a lot to say on the subject of romance. While Charlene, the youngest member at 52, struggles with the assignment, Baker extraordinaire Marley's elegant bohemian bunny, I'm always right Velda, and Ebullient Eddie take up their contributions enthusiastically. After all, their book is really about cooking up love in all its forms. But not everyone in the congregation is on board with this scandalous project. As the voices of opposition grow louder, Pastor Pete and these intrepid women will have to decide how hard they're willing to fight for this book and the powerful stories within. Stories of discovery, softened hearts, and changed lives. Book List says that it is a feel-good read for book clubs. Fortress of the Snow by Melanie Dickerson comes in at 352 pages. From New York Times bestselling author Melanie Dickerson comes a reimagining of the beloved Snow Queen tale. Maisie dreams of independence. Sir Beringer longs to play the hero, but in each other they may find the secret to happily ever after. Maiselina of Wexcombe has always dreamed of traveling with her father to lands beyond the confining walls of their castle, but his sudden death deprives her of the future she imagined. Abandoned by her eldest brother, Maisie is soon forced to seek help from her beloved brother, Sir John, at the great estate of Strachan. Her visit leads to a friendship with the dashing and noble Sir Beringer of Derricot. He has notions of rescuing a damsel in distress, but Maisie is brave enough to defend herself and has proven that her skills in archery and knife throwing rival that of a knight's. So when he is called away to Prussian lands, Sir Beringer looks to distinguish himself in battle. When Sir Beringer returns, he and Maisie meet again on the streets of London, where she is making a living selling goods in the market. Meanwhile, he has been summoned by the king to receive a reward for his service. But the recognition comes with a price. He must marry a wealthy, titled widow to please the king. But when Maisie begins to suspect treachery, she embarks on a journey to the Fortress of Snow to warn the brave knight and secure her own fairy tale ending. In this fourth novel, set in Derricot universe, Melanie Dickerson weaves an exciting reimagining of the Snow Queen tale. When it comes to happily ever afters, Melanie Dickerson is an undisputed queen, says Julie Lessman, award-winning author. Sweet historical medieval romance, part of the Derricot series. Book 1, Court of Swans. Book 2, Castle of Refuge. Book 3, Vale of Winter. Book 4, Fortress of Snow. Book length is 85,000 words and includes discussion questions for book clubs. Melanie Dickerson is a New York Times bestselling author and 2-time Christie Award winner. Melanie spends her time daydreaming, researching the most fascinating historical time periods, and writing and editing her happily ever afters. Visit her online at melaniedickerson.com. Facebook at Melanie Dickerson Books. Twitter at Melanie Author. Instagram at Melanie Dickerson 123. Key selling points. Melanie Dickerson is a New York Times bestselling author. The Warrior Maiden won the 2019 Christie Award for Young Adult Fiction. This medieval retelling of the Snow Queen showcases a strong, heroic young woman. This is the 4th book in Melanie's exciting series set in England, and it can also be read as a standalone story. Author is willing to do video chat with book clubs pending availability, so if you're interested in that, you talk to the publisher. And yeah, her hometown is Huntsville, Alabama. So that's all I've got on Melanie Dickerson and Fortress of Snow. Next up is Lumara by Melissa Landers, who is a favorite of mine. She wrote the Alienated series, so when I saw she had a new book, obviously it was going to make it onto this list. This one comes in at 288 pages and is pitched as a young adult fantasy with witches and wizards for, of course, young adults, ages 12 and up in this case. Boarding school student Talia Morris has no idea her boyfriend Nathaniel is a mystic, let alone second in line to the throne of a secretive, aspirational, magical community. One no mortal has ever been allowed to step inside. Until now. Nathaniel's cousin is about to be married in the biggest wedding the magical world has ever seen, and Nathaniel is allowed to bring a date. Talia is the lucky replacement of the golden ticket every mystic wannabe in the world would kill for, only she doesn't want it. Talia thinks mystic worship unnecessarily aggrandizes people for being born a certain way. When she finds out Nathaniel is one of them, she almost jumps ship. But Nathaniel loves her and she loves him. So when he begs her to give his family and their community a shot, she reluctantly agrees. Enter the most fantastical world any mortal has ever seen and a magical wedding straight out of a dream. After a few days of bonding with the Nathaniel's family on the island, of seeing how beautiful their magic is and how peaceful their community, Talia's about to be won over until the entire wedding party suddenly falls into an unexplainable coma and the community goes on lockdown. Thalia, the outsider, is pegged as the culprit and has to do everything in her meager non-power to prove her innocence as she embarks on a journey to find the truth. Thalia soon discovers reality is not all it seems, and her past may put her in more danger than she has ever imagined. In this captivating YA fantasy, Thalia must solve a multi-generational mystery and break a curse, all the while being torn between making her family proud and regaining the trust of the boy she loves. Melissa Landers is a former teacher who left the classroom to pursue other worlds. A proud sci-fi geek, she isn't afraid to wear her Princess Leia costume in public. Just ask her embarrassed kids. She lives outside Cincinnati in a small town of Milford, Ohio, where she writes romantic space adventures for teens and the young at heart. Key selling points for this one: in a world where magical mystics live side by side with humans, one girl is thrust into the most powerful and secretive magical family and accused of trying to murder them. Teeming with suspense and reverie, Lumara is perfect for fans of Kingdom of the Wicked and We Were Liars, a whole new world. With masterful, detailed world building, this story creates an alternate version of our world, complete with magical warring families and all new landscape will delight readers as they find a world hidden within their own. Aspirational magical elements, witches are perennially popular, and the entire new magical realm will appeal to readers looking for the next fantasy story to transport them from their everyday lives. Unexpected twists and turns. Filled with mystery and suspense, this novel will shock readers with each new twist, the biggest coming with the reveal of the unreliable narrator being the culprit we've been looking for the whole time. Next up, we have The Key to My Heart by Lia Louis, which comes in at 352 pages and is pitched as a romantic comedy for adults. This one actually won in a Goodreads giveaway, so I'm really excited to be featuring it this week, and I hope after this you'll want to go pick up a copy as well. Let me know if you'd like to buddy read it with me, because I could always use a buddy reading person to help me finish some books. So anyway, Jodi Picoult says that this is a heartwarming novel about hope after loss as a young widow receives mysterious messages of love. Sparkly and charming, Natalie Fincher has it all: a handsome new husband, a fixer-upper cottage of her dreams, and the opportunity to tour with the musical she spent years writing. But when her husband suddenly dies, all her hopes and dreams instantly disappear. 2.5 years later, Natalie is still lost. She works, sleeps, well, as much as the sexually frustrated village foxes will allow, and sees friends just often enough to allay their worries. But her life is empty, and she can only bring herself to play music at a London train station's public piano where she can be anonymous. She's lost motivation, faith in love, in happiness, in everything. But when someone begins to mysteriously leave the sheet music for her husband's favorite song at the station's piano, Natalie begins to feel a sense of hope and excitement for the first time. As she investigates just who could be doing this, Natalie finds herself on an unexpected journey toward newfound love for herself, for life, and maybe for a special someone. Lia Louis lives in the United Kingdom with her partner and 3 young children. Before raising a family, she worked as a freelance copywriter and proofreader. She was the 2015 winner of Elle magazine's annual writing competition and has been a contributor for Bloomsbury Writers and Artist blog for aspiring writers. She is the author of Somewhere Close to Happy, Dear Emmy Blue, and 8 Perfect Hours, which I believe I actually bought 8 Perfect Hours, and so it is also on my TBR. How funny. So, a couple of quotes for this one from Beth O'Leary, international best-selling author of The No-Show, says, "The Key to My Heart is a simply beautiful book. A Lia Louis novel always leaves me feeling warm and uplifted, and this is her best one yet." Well, I hope so, because it is going to be my first for this author. Then we have Abby Jimenez, New York Times best-selling author of Part of Your World. "The key to my heart is a warm, relatable journey through the bog of grief to living life again." Marian Keyes, internationally best-selling author of Again Rachel, says it is the sweetest, most romantic book. It was a pure delight to read. Jessica Wren, author of The Imperfect Art of Caring, says this is a stunner of a book, such a beautiful story that filled my heart up to the brim. Loved, loved, loved The Key to My Heart. Ancy Harris, author of When I First Held You, says incredibly tender and heartwarming, down-to-earth characters who made me laugh out loud, and Natalie has my heart. Louise O'Neill, author of The Surface Break, says gloriously romantic and very funny. This delightful book is not to be missed. Gillian McAllister, internationally best-selling author of That Night, says I loved The Key to My Heart, moving, wise, and funny. Lia Louis is rom-com note perfect. Lindsay Kelk, internationally best-selling author of The Christmas Wish, says heartwarming, hope-filled, and hilarious. The Key to My Heart is wonderful. I loved this tender story about opening your heart and letting love into your life. Reading a Lia Louis book is like hanging out with your very best friend and drinking a whipped cream hot chocolate with extra marshmallows. Pure joy. Holly Miller, author of This Side of You, says The Key to My Heart is a poignant, life-affirming novel that sparkles throughout with Lia Louis's trademark humor and charm, a moving exploration of love, loss, and learning to let go. Natalie's story will warm your heart and leave a smile on your face long after you turn the final page. And last but certainly not least, we have a review from Shauna Robinson, author of Must Love Books. Says it is a charming, laugh-out-loud, funny novel about navigating loss and learning how to move forward. The Key to My Heart is a warm hug in book form. And last but not least, we have Acting the Part by Z.R. Ellor. So if you're looking to complete your alphabet challenge this year and you struggle with that letter Z for the author's first name, you can go with Acting the Part, which comes in at 288 pages and is pitched as a young adult LGBTQ plus romance. This delightfully tropey teen romance, perfect for fans of Ashley Poston and Lia Louis, follows a queer teen actor navigating their gender identity while pretending to date their co-star. Queer actor Lily Ashton has found fame playing lesbian warrior Morgantha on a hit TV show Galaxy Spark. Lily knows how little representation queer girls have, so when the showrunners reveal that Morgantha's on-screen love interest, Alietta, is going to be killed off, Leela orchestrates an elaborate fake dating scheme with the standoffish actress who plays her to generate press and ensure a happy ending for the Morganette ship. But while playing a doting girlfriend on and off screen, Lily struggles with whether a word like girl applies to them at all. Their male online gaming persona, Frey, feels more authentically them than the curvy body they see in the mirror, and coming out as non-binary to the crush they meet in a MMORPG makes them feel like they've got a shot at a real-world happy ever after. Hashtag Morganetta means so much to so many people, though, so Lily decides to keep presenting as female to the world and continue the dating charade. Even as they genuinely bond with their co-star, they can't ignore how much it hurts to be something they're not. This one is written by Z.R. Ellor, is an author and literary agent from the Washington, D.C. area, an avid lifelong reader. He wrote his first novel when he was 12 years old and never put down his pen. He graduated from Cornell University in 2016 with a dual degree in biology and English literature. His non-literary interests include running, travel, and global cuisine. May the Best Man Win was his debut novel. Visit him online at zrellorbooks.com. Key selling points for this one. Gender? I barely know her. Lila's first-person narration gives us a front-row seat to their journey of realizing they're trans and figuring out what it means for their life and relationships. The author also identifies as trans and non-binary, and so this comes from a very personal place for him. Stars, they're just like us. Combining an aspirational setting and cast with a deeply personal coming-out journey makes for a story readers of all sorts will enjoy. Queer stories matter. When the show Lily works for introduces a bury your gays plotline, they make it their mission to make sure it doesn't happen because they know how important representation is to their viewers. Social emotional learning. As Lily learns more about themselves and sets the boundaries they need, this is a great title for self-awareness, self-management, relationship skills, social awareness, and responsible decision making. Got some quotes for this one. We've got a Kirkus review that says, this queer coming-of-age story offers a high-appeal, fandom-inspired romantic subplot with a prickly enemies-to-lovers dynamic involving an asexual love interest. Woohoo! I love that. I'm ace. Woohoo! Woohoo! The central conflict is so rare, y'all. The central conflict diverges from the path of a straightforward savior narrative, focusing instead on confronting privilege, setting healthy boundaries, and unlearning gender expectations. Then we've got one from Publishers Weekly, says, Ellor adeptly centers fictional sci-fi show Galaxy Spark's script and crew to address themes of homophobia, misogyny, and white privilege as inviting tale of self-expression and discovery. Jasper Sanchez, author of The Unpopular Vote, acting the part takes the fun of fake dating and fandom to tell a thoughtful, nuanced story about stories. Ellor asks and answers charged questions about who holds the power when writing queer characters and what it takes to flip the script. Carol Shinek Varner from Scholar Books says, while I generally find it difficult to relate to stories about Hollywood actors, Z.R. Ellor does a fine job of making this novel a compelling read. The process of Lily coming to understand their gender identity via the anatomy of their online gaming persona rings true. Acting the part is a fun queer teen romance. Then we have one that is a starred review from Booklist. Praise for May the Best Man Win. Well, I don't really care about that book because we're not talking about that book today, are we? So that is all we have for this book, but the other book that they wrote has Becky Albertalli on there talking about it, Jackson Bird, a whole bunch of different people shouting out that book, but we're just going to focus on the one here. So yeah, that's all I have for you today. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with friends, and go check out these amazing books. If any of them sounded good to you, well, guess what? They're new releases. You can be the first on the bandwagon to shout to the rooftops about the books that you like in this pile. And don't forget, if you want to read The Key to My Heart with me, please let me know, and we can try to buddy read that, because I want to get to it this month. But yeah, that's all I got for you in this video today. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one, which is going to be When's it going to be? It's going to be this coming Sunday, where I talk about what's coming out the following week. So yeah, authors, don't forget, if you want to be featured, check out the link down below in the description, fill out that form, and it's just going to get your book in front of my eyes and up your chances of being selected. Not guaranteed, but it ups your chances. So give it a shot. You've got nothing to lose but like 5 minutes of filling out the form. I've also got some other promotional opportunities for you on there. If you do fill out that form, if I choose your book, I might choose you for other promotional activities like live interviews, ARC review, distribution, all that kind of stuff. And it's completely for free. Free! Nobody does that kind of promotion for free anymore. So I'm your girl. All right, I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.